here with a veteran who served our country well, Tim Lee. Tim, I just met you. It's a pleasure to meet you. And Tim, thank you for your service. And you were in the Vietnam War.
Yes,
and you have an amazing array of medals here, starting with the Purple Heart. Can you tell us about each one of these medals?
Well, they're combat-related medals from Vietnam with different campaigns. And Purple Heart, of course, is the most important one on there, so that's first. But a little bit of my story was I was a Christian when I went to Vietnam, but I was running from God. And it took a landmine explosion in my two legs for God to get my attention. March the 8th, 1971, I stepped on a 60-pound mine. I should have been killed immediately. It was a big enough mine to destroy a Jeep. Ripped both my legs off my body, and so they took me to USS Sanctuary, then to Guam, and then back to Philadelphia, where I spent the next 8 months, 8 long months, surgery after surgery. But while I was on the battlefield that day, my best friend, Corporal Lee Gore, he and I flew to Vietnam on the same plane. He was a Christian, living for God openly. He would read his Bible, he would talk to Marines about the Lord, he would pray. And I knew that was the testimony I was supposed to have, but I was running from God. And but that day, he prayed for me, tears streaming down his face, and asked God to let me live. And I wanted to live. I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
But God let me live, and here we are today. So it's a miracle that I'm here.
Yeah, we're in Virginia. We're at Liberty University, and Tim has written a book called Born on the 5th of July. Now we've heard Born on the 4th of July. So this is your story of how you had your injuries on the battlefield, your commitment to Christ, and today you are an evangelist.
Yes, sir.
You told me you tried to be a pastor and it didn't work out that well for you. So
My wife doesn't like me to say that. I was a horrible pastor, really. When I look back at it, I've done over 3,000 revival crusades and thousands of other meetings. So I see other pastors working. I'm thinking, boy, I was terrible, you know.
Yeah.
But God was getting me ready to be an evangelist. And so, yes, the book tells my story and tells about, the fact is a lot of Vietnam veterans came back from Vietnam bitter and angry. I was on a hospital ward. We didn't have private rooms or semi-private rooms. Everyone on Ward 1A was a Marine and was an amputee from the Vietnam War. At any given time, 30 to 40 Marines on that ward. Such bitterness and anger. And I didn't want that for my life. And so I just made up my mind that wasn't going to be me. I went through a lot of struggles, a lot of problems and obstacles to overcome. But I tell people that the loser looks at the obstacles, the winner looks at the opportunities. And I knew there was opportunities in my life. God had let me live for a reason. It was a miracle, absolute miracle, that I survived a landmine explosion. And then here, all these years later, still be doing what God's called me to do.
amazing. Say that again. The loser looks for obstacles.
Well, yeah, I say the loser looks at the problems. The winner looks at the potential. The loser says, look at the obstacles. The winner says, but look at the opportunities. The loser says, we'll die. The winner says, we'll try. The loser says, there's no way. The winner says, God can make a way.
Wow.
And so I know God made a way for me.
I see the evangelist preacher in there right now.
Well, you're bringing it out.
Thank you, Tim. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.